What's up, Taiwan? I'm Sandy Chi with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. From Thursday, travelers arriving into Taiwan no longer have to quarantine. The lifting of border restrictions comes 2.5 years after Taiwan first implemented isolation measures in response to the coronavirus outbreak. James Chater went to Taiwan's main international airport and met some of the people who had just landed.
Travelling to Taiwan just got a lot simpler. These international passengers are the first to arrive here who won't have to quarantine straight out of the airport. After more than 2 years, the government has scrapped isolation rules to combat the coronavirus. Some travellers planned their trips especially to coincide with the lifting of restrictions.
目前就感觉很像疫情之前，回来没有任何繁琐程序的这样的一个感觉，对。
没有隔离哦，很好，非常好，对啊，很开心。出来的很快，蛮快的，对啊，对，所以我很开心。
In early 2020, Taiwan was one of the first countries to implement entry restrictions as the pandemic paralysed global travel. Taiwan's quick response won international praise, but the country has since lagged behind others in returning to normal. The removal of mandatory quarantine is aimed at boosting Taiwan's economy, but arrivals into the country will still be capped at 150,000 a week, and passengers must take a rapid test the day after they arrive.
It just adds a couple of extra productive days to the journey instead of having to come here and wait 4 days before you can actually start doing anything. I can get tomorrow in the office and then I've got the whole weekend to go sightseeing and be a tourist as well as working here as well.
Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen visited the airport to thank officials for their work during the period of restrictions and to mark the reopening of Taiwan's borders.
那我要利用这个机会告诉我们国际上的好朋友，台湾准备好了。 欢迎光临，邀请大家来台湾。
It's been 2.5 years since you could walk out of an airport here and head straight back into life in Taiwan. And while there is some nervousness about the border reopening, there's also excitement that the time has come for Taiwan to reconnect with the world. James Chater and Damon Lin at Taoyuan International Airport for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwanese chip giant TSMC posted another record for quarterly earnings on Thursday, with net profit climbing nearly 80% on the same period last year. It's the company's strongest quarterly net profit growth in 2 years. TSMC also reported net profit of nearly $9 billion for July to September. The company produces some of the world's most advanced semiconductors, used in everything from mobile phones to fighter jets. The average age for first-time homebuyers in Taiwan is going up. As John Van Triest reports, high prices and inflation mean the dream of home ownership is increasingly out of reach for young people.
Buying a first home in Taiwan is the hardest it's been in years. A decade ago, the average age of people looking to buy a home like this one was 30 to 35. Now it's between 35 and 40.
我真的蛮吃力的，除非靠我爸妈，存钱就没有很容易啊。
It isn't just a matter of high prices. Inflation means that real wages shrank slightly between January and August, even though the average wage appeared to grow 3% over that time.
台湾的薪资并没有很跟着一个物价水准这样上涨，所以说现在年轻人是买不起房子的。
And there are some young people putting off buying a first home in the hopes the housing market will slump.
如果有个案型的一些财务压力的屋主或者是建商，有可能会稍微便宜卖，但它都不会是一个整体区域的下修状况。
Property market analysts say there's a chance prices will lower outside the big downtown areas if interest rates go up next year. But they say high costs for building materials and a lack of construction labor mean prices will stay high at least to the end of the year. Klein Wang and John Van Triest for TaiwanPlus.
In the latest edition of the World University Rankings released by Times Higher Education, Taiwan's top university, National Taiwan University, was ranked at 187. That's a drop of 74 places. Despite the poor showing, a record 43 Taiwanese universities made the list. Bing Wang reports.
This is the most prestigious higher education institution in the country, National Taiwan University, or NTU. It tops many Taiwanese students' list of dream schools, but NTU slid significantly in the 2023 Times Higher Education Rankings, the largest and most diverse evaluation of world universities. NTU was listed as 187th this year, out of almost 2,000. That's a drop of 74 places from its previous standing. It's the second straight year the university ranking has fallen since it peaked at 97th place in 2021. Some students fear this could affect their employment prospects.
在国内的话是还好，可是未来如果有要跟国外有一些可能申请国外的一些事情的话，可能会有一些影响吧。
The Times Higher Education Survey bases the ranking on 5 criteria: teaching, research, citations, industry income, and international outlook. Out of the 5, NTU's teaching, research, and citation scores saw a decrease in standards. This means a drop in the school's quality of education, facilities, research, and academic reach. NTU officials acknowledge improvements are needed if the university wants to be competitive internationally. TaiwanPlus reached out to NTU for comment but did not receive a response by airtime. While NTU plummeted in the rankings, a record 43 Taiwanese universities made this year's list.
我们以前不是全球100大吗？现在没了。对啊，可能就是代表其他就是台金交城其他的学校就是变得进步啊，就不一定要是台湾的首府，一定要是最强。
As competition increases, universities may likely spur each other on to improve the quality of their education. Ricky and Bing Wong for TaiwanPlus.
A strong earthquake last month and recent heavy rainfall have caused landslides in Taiwan's main rice-growing region in the east of the country. A series of 7 landslides have struck the Chikershan Industry Road in Yuli Township, Hualien County. These have been blamed on a powerful 6.8 magnitude earthquake last month, made worse by days of heavy rain that began last week. The road is an important artery for Yuli, home to the country's most productive rice fields. And the damage to irrigation channels feeding the fields means the crops aren't getting the water they need. County authorities say they are working urgently to reopen the road and give subsidies to affected farmers. An octogenarian has set the record as the oldest person to sail around Taiwan.
以前我是有一个要追梦，但是我现在这个年龄了，是要在圆梦。但是我今天很高兴告诉大家。
82-year-old Zhang Zhenfeng has been dreaming of this day for 40 years. He set off in a dinghy from Shizi Bay in southern Taiwan's Kaohsiung on August 13 and finished his trip on Wednesday after around 2 months. The journey took longer than expected due to bad weather and military drills. He and his association are now planning their next event. I joined Zhang while he was sailing around northern Taiwan. Stay tuned to TaiwanPlus to see my exclusive report. 2 Taiwanese designers have featured in a new fashion show in Washington, D.C. that puts a spotlight on the people who dress world leaders and their partners. Liu Yongzhan and Justin Zhou have designed outfits for Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen. At the first fashion gala on Wednesday, Liu showed off an evening wear outfit inspired by the designs of Taiwan's indigenous peoples. Zhou's piece was a business suit with a bubble milk tea motif. The base color is the tea, with the silk scarf the color of tapioca pearls. The gala was hosted by the Diplomacy and Fashion Project and showcased designs by 40 designers from nearly 30 countries. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we leave you with the images of a military parade in Madrid, Spain, celebrating the country's National Day. I'm Sandy Chi. Take care and see you next time.